It is happening. Apparently, the Warriors will pull off this trade, which will be a blockbuster and could reunite Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry again. I said here yesterday, I'm not a super fan. I'm going to explain to you why I don't think this actually should happen, why it might not happen, and how it would play if the Warriors really do it. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of trade rumors flying. The trade line is tomorrow, you know that, but it's heating up. And apparently, Kevin Durant is going to reconnect with Stephen Curry and the Warriors again. Look at this news that came in, and I'm going to share later my opinion about it.
Okay, what we have developing here in the league is the KD Jimmy Butler triangle. And before I tell you what's going on, I cannot predict what's going to go on here. So things are changing quickly. We know that for weeks now, Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns have been trying to acquire Jimmy Butler. We know the only way to do that was with the Bradley Beal trade. We know that Bradley Beal has a no trade clause. Trust me when I tell you, they have tried every nook and cranny of this league trying to figure out a way to trade Bradley Beal to a place he would accept and that would deliver them the kind of pieces that they would need to then go acquire Jimmy Butler. To this point, they have failed and they are running out of time. Meanwhile, they are very struggling. They are very much struggling on the court. They are now down to on the verge of being out of the play-in. They are one game over 500. They have an owner in Matt Ishbia who is absolutely one of the most aggressive owners we've ever seen and will not stand for that position. With no way to necessarily acquire Butler and put him with Durant, they have now had to realize that they may have to put Durant on the trade block, and they have. And they have talked to several teams about that. One of the teams that they have talked about is indeed the Golden State Warriors, because we know that the Golden State Warriors for the last year have been very aggressively trying to get a star player. They tried for LeBron. They tried for Paul George. They tried for Lauri Markkanen. They probably tried for other players we don't know about. And now they're trying to get the reunion for KD back. So how does it involve the Miami Heat? Well, the discussions have included bringing the Heat in and getting Jimmy Butler ending up potentially in Phoenix, where he would be in Phoenix where he's wanted to be all along, but instead of being aside Kevin Durant, he would be essentially being traded for Kevin Durant. Now, coming up with all the pieces and parts and getting everybody to agree to that is very difficult, much less the concept of Kevin Durant going back and playing with Steph Curry. And I have no idea how it's going to work out. But that is one of the things under discussion. There are other Durant potential places, as well as Durant just staying put and maybe not going there. And there's even a possibility that one of the Beal avenues that have been closed off could reopen. So I can't predict which avenue this is going, but it is possible that Kevin Durant could be on the move yet again at the trade deadline.
And I have said here, right? So it's really difficult for the Warriors to pull off this trade because you would have to send a lot of assets, which I think even if Kevin Durant upgrade when you think about anyone in the Warriors roster right now that pairing with Stephen Curry, obviously it is. He is one of the best scorers. I am a fan. I'm proud of the time that he was at the Warriors. He walked away because he wanted to, right? I know that many of you blame on Draymond Green. I particularly think that was his own decision. Arguments and fights like those, it happens all the time. I don't like what Draymond Green had, the way that the situation was handled by the Warriors organization, but it was purely on Kevin Durant. And in my opinion, he walked away because he wanted to prove that he could win somewhere else because he joined a Warriors team that was a very strong and competitive one. And that's why I think that would be interesting for him joining the Warriors right now, right? The Warriors are not a winning team anymore at this point. We are barely in the playing. We are fighting for that spot. Same as Phoenix. So it would be his chance of showing that pairing with Stephen Curry, he's still the high level caliber player that makes the difference. Not what people were saying before that he just added like to a winning super powerful team. So that's why I think he should do, in his point of view, would be interesting to join the Warriors. It's really hard to pull off this trade, right? And there's more to it. Like, would you trade Andrew Wiggins, the second best scorer right now? Would you trade Draymond Green? What other players you have to send it? Like, you have to involve three teams, as you saw there: the Heat, the Phoenix Suns, the Warriors. And I don't think really that it will put the Warriors in a place where we're gonna be a title contender. We're gonna be more competitive. I think we will. But are we really pulling all of that and sending all the assets to actually just be a six seed? or a fifth seed and then being like not doing a deep playoff run. Do you believe that really like pairing Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry with the rest of the assets, they will still be there once we do this trade? We will be like a really title contender. Let me know your opinion in the comments. Look what Stephen A. Smith said about this as well.
Oh, Lord. Yes, it is possible. Yes, the Golden State Warriors are pursuing the possibility of reacquiring Kevin Durant. Um, it is not something that I like for them. Like, why want somebody back that left you voluntarily? He could have retired there. They would have never moved him. Kevin Durant left of his own volition. But he is one of the greatest players we have ever seen. Even at 35 years of age, 36 years of age, he's still averaging nearly 27 a game, which is his career average. He's just one of the elite scorers we've ever seen in NBA history, as far as I'm concerned, with several years left in his game because he's just that gifted, that elite. And if you're Golden State, you can't waste away the greatest years, the remaining years of the great Steph Curry's career. You can't stand pat. And Joe Lacob is not trying to do that. The problem is, in all likelihood, Wendy, you probably have to trade Draymond Green if you were to acquire Kevin Durant, and that ain't gonna happen because Steph Curry's not having that. That's the last thing that he wants to hear or do. Nobody is better than setting up Steph Curry than Draymond Green. I mean, he's vital. And by the way, when you talk about championship contention, it's not just about KD and Steph. You need Draymond Green with those two to compete because there's nobody to replace Draymond Green.
And I agree with that. Like, I don't think Draymond Green is the solution to be traded, right? Because he leads the defense, as I keep saying here. He assists Stephen Curry. He can assist Kevin Durant as well. And then it becomes really challenging because undoubtedly you're going to have to put Andrew Wiggins in the mix of that trade. And he has been the second best scorer that we have. He's our best defender in the perimeter. So I would love to see the Warriors pairing in one wing Kevin Durant, the other one Andrew Wiggins, and then you have Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, and Quinton Pulse or Tracy Jackson, right? But it's almost impossible to pull that because then Phoenix wouldn't want to jump in that trade. We probably would be talking about sending Jonathan Kuminga. So even if Kevin Durant wants to join, which I want to report here, this is fresh. While I was reporting here, I was popping up on Twitter, and apparently Kevin Durant doesn't not even want to join the Warriors right now. So it becomes really hard. I said here, in my point of view, thinking on the Kevin Durant perspective, it would be good for him. He could prove a lot of stuff, but apparently he doesn't want. So we are back to square zero. But if the Warriors are pulling that trade, this is how it would play out probably. So you're going to have to send Dan Schroeder, Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, Buddy Hield, and a first-round pick. It's a lot, actually 2 first-round picks. It's a lot of assets to bring Kevin Durant, which is a great player, top 75 of all time, but you won't put, by letting Jonathan Kuminga go, our third best scorer, Andrew Wiggins, our second best scorer, Buddy Hield, which is not playing well right now, but he was essential for that fast start and good start that we have. It's a threat. Like, he still needs a defender to be looking him because he's a threat from 3-point line. So you're letting it go. And then Schroeder, it has been our backup guard, is not working as the Warriors expected, as he was in the Brooklyn Nets, but is still the backup time for Stephen Curry is then Schroeder. So we're going to have to go back to having Brandon Porzingis as the backup, which wasn't working, if you recall well, right? He improved it a lot by the time he moved to position number 2 and not being the guard backing up Stephen Curry. So you're letting go all these assets and you're not going to be a title contender. And that's why I don't think the Warriors should do it. I think this trade, it's amazing from a blockbuster perspective. It improves the offense. It gives like one of the most powerful scorers that we have in the league right now to the Warriors, but you lose too much, which would not put you in a competitive place yet. Just looking at Kevin Durant, he was there with Devin Booker, with Bradley Beal. He was before with Kyrie Irving. You need the supporting cast to be there to be a title contender, right? So that's why I don't think the Warriors should pull off this trade. But the way that things going on right now, it sounds like something is coming and Kevin Durant might be the name linked with the Warriors right now. And the Warriors are playing tonight. We are obviously very anxious for the trade deadline and see if we are doing something. But there's a game tonight, right? So we're playing Utah in Utah, and it's one more chance. Utah is the last in the standings of the West Conference right now. So it's one more opportunity for the Warriors to be catch another win, start putting their name in that playing roster, and start fighting for a playoff spot as well. So let me know, are you anxious for the trade deadline? I said here yesterday, I just want to be over. It's a lot of anxiety, a lot of like monitoring tweet, refreshing all the time. We don't know what the Warriors will do or if they're not doing anything, but at least everyone can focus only on the game. So I hope you enjoyed the game tonight.